I mean, look at that. How do you stop that when he's that size? Patriots up 7-0. Second quarter now, Chargers punting. Gunnar Olszewski, looks like trouble. Made a few guys miss. 70-yard return for the touchdown. Putting on the move. Believe it or not, that's New England's first punt return touchdown since 2014. It's 14-0. Speaking of special teams, Michael Badgley out for the field goal. Blocked by Cody Davis. Devin McCourty picks it up. He scores. So the Patriots with 2 special teams touchdowns in this game, and they don't roll. They blow out the Chargers at home, 45-0. So what's that AFC playoff picture looking like? Well, of course, you got the Steelers there, undefeated, 11-0. Chiefs 10-1 right behind them. Bills, Titans, respectively leading their divisions. But the Browns, wild card, Dolphins, Colts, all in a position to reach the playoffs. As far as the Chargers are concerned, head coach Anthony Lynn, he was in his feelings.
Well, let me just start out by saying that was one of the worst football games I've ever been a part of in my 30 years in the National Football League as a player and a coach. It's not acceptable, and it's not indicative of the men in the locker room. I watched closely. Not one guy on that field quit. This team will regroup. They will battle, and we will bounce back. And we will make sure, I would personally make sure that would never happen again, because that was unacceptable and embarrassing.
All right, so frustration there for Anthony Lynn, but the Chargers once again are going to miss the playoffs. And let's talk big picture here, because this season started in a way it wasn't supposed to, because Justin Herbert wasn't supposed to be the starting quarterback. Tyrod Taylor gets a freak shot in his ribs before a game, and all of a sudden Herbert finds out 30 seconds before the game he's got to go out there. And now you see how the whole season's kind of playing out. But for the future of this franchise right now, Tim, how do you see it?
Well, listen, this is an embarrassing loss. It's hard to get over these things. And sometimes, losses like that can bring on change that you maybe weren't expecting. I would just say this. Your description of how it all started for Herbert, look, that's hard. And when we expected young quarterbacks to struggle, and I think there have been a lot of surprising moments in a very good way for Justin Herbert this year. Today wasn't one of them. That's going to happen. And I think that there's got to be some patience, for a guy like that in situations like they were in today. There will be better days. And I think ultimately, when this, you kind of look back at the experience of this, there'll be more good than bad for Herbert. And so the future in that way is bright. But, outside of that, in terms of who's coaching going forward and all that stuff, look, it's a weird year, but you're still being judged on it, and that's a challenge. And what was on the field today wasn't good.
Yeah, Herbert's supposed to be the quarterback of the future for this team. It just started a little earlier. Now they're going through some of those growing pains as a result. All right, before we get you guys out of here, real quickly, Rob, let me get your takeaway here from Week 13 and what you saw.
It's December football. I love December football. This is playoff football. We're watching all these matchups, and as we continue through this month, there's going to be huge playoff implications on teams that win and lose and divisions. So for me, I always love football after Thanksgiving. And once you hit December, it's all about how well can you play in this last month, the fourth quarter of the season, to put yourself in a position to get into the tournament. And once you're in the tournament, you never know.
Good way to put it. What are you doing to get into the tournament that is the NFL playoffs? Tim, what about you?
Hey, listen, I think we just need to give the Browns a little more love. You said first winning season since 2002. Is that what you said, Michael? Listen, they're a for-real team because they can play defense. The quarterback is giving you a chance, and the play caller does a very good job. So I think Cleveland is for real, and today they showed it.
Hey, they got 9 wins. That's third most in the AFC. So, give them the credit. They've earned it to this point. Rob, Tim, as always, appreciate it, guys. Talk to you next week. And Sarah Fuller was asked to plunge the Titans' sword of honor before the game. Of course, she's the Vanderbilt kicker. Vanderbilt right there in Nashville. Start of the second quarter, the Browns are up 10-0. And then Kendall Lamb, offensive tackle, in the end zone. Browns take a 17-0 lead. Then Baker Mayfield looking for more. And this is how you do it. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 75 yards on the connection. Browns will be up 38-7 at halftime. Third quarter, Tannehill, A.J. Brown fumbles, but Michael Pruitt is there to scoot up and score, so the Titans actually trim the lead 28-21 after the two-point conversion. Late fourth quarter, 4th and 1. Baker fumbles, recovered by Kenny Vaccaro, and he's inside the 15, giving the Titans a very short field. Baker can't believe it. 33 seconds to go. Tannehill, Cameron Batson, touchdown. It's a 41-35 game. So here comes the onside kick, and Browns recover. Had a huge lead. They hang on. 41-35 the final. Diana Rossini, she's on SportsCenter.
We just try to do whatever it takes to win. And whether that's passing the ball or running the ball, and I think we found a good balance today, and we've just been finding ways to do that, whatever it takes to win.
Kevin Stefanski's ability to draw up this play, the plays today that were successful, what do you make of your head coach and his ability to call a game like he just did?
Amazing. I mean, you put 38 points up in the first half. I mean, that's something that's probably something that doesn't happen a lot in Cleveland either, you know?
Poor coaching, poor playing. You know, just couldn't get stops early. You know, weren't able to sustain any kind of drives. You know, that's just, you know, went for it. We didn't get it. You know, we held them to a field goal early, started moving the ball, didn't get it, and then, you know, just hung the defense out. You know, I mean, just didn't give them an opportunity, and they weren't coming up defensively. We weren't coming up with stops. Having been in the National Football League, playing and coaching, I've seen teams fight. I've seen coaches fight players. I've seen players fight players. I've seen offensive players fight defensive players. And guys really just pack up and go home and bitch and complain and look to point fingers. And my point is I never saw that. We lost. We didn't coach well enough. We didn't play well enough.
All right, Tim, Rob back here with us. And, Tim, let's start with you in Cleveland. I mean, they were up 38-7, and that was a huge surprise when I saw that developing Sunday afternoon. What did you see from the Browns' offense that enabled them to jump out to that huge lead?
Well, listen, details matter, and Kevin Stefanski is there in Cleveland to help kind of fix how things were going for Baker Mayfield. And it hasn't been perfect, but they're coaching the details, and it's showing up in their passing game. Good example, his first touchdown pass to Jarvis Landry, who's at the top of the screen. Coming off the play action, look at the patience by Landry. You know, Baker's going to work to his right, which is going to move Kevin Byard. So there needs to be patience and an awareness of the timing by Jarvis Landry to allow that window to happen when Baker moves the safety with his eyes. Then, later in the game, it's hard play action. It's basically going to take about 11 steps off of this hard play action cell. And so they're going to do a double move off of this. So let's wind it back and look at the route combination with this hard play action. Peoples-Jones does an excellent job here of basically coming to a complete stop, but then also turning his head back to the quarterback. That does two things. It sells the route, but it also creates a situation where you don't outrun the quarterback's arm because of the hard play action. It's really well done. They're little things that make a huge difference in terms of timing in the passing game. They're doing a good job of coaching it. They're doing it without, you know, their best wide receiver, but their passing game is benefiting because of it. And quite honestly, they look like a really good football team, especially with some of the other pieces they have, obviously running the football and how they play defense.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I mean, this was a balanced attack early on to get to that 38-7 advantage, because it's one thing to score 38 points, Rob, but to only give up 7 to a Titans offense led by Derrick Henry. That, to me, was impressive. What did you see from the Browns' defense?
Yeah, look, everyone knew coming into this matchup it was going to be who could stop the other team's running game, and Cleveland did a great job stopping Derrick Henry from running all over them. And there was 2 instances in this game where short yardage, which just falling forward, Derrick Henry usually gets it. Well, they stop him here. They don't convert. They don't get the first down. And then another down here on a 2-point conversion, they stop his forward progress, which is really, really hard to do. That means you have to gang tackle. And I think a pivotal point in this game was this play right here, this volleyball drop pass interception. If Tennessee scores on that drive, it basically gets them into winning position. If the game progresses just as it did and they scored on this drive, they would have won the game by a point. So it just goes to show you that one play here or there at the end of the game always can count and matter. So Tennessee, look, they're not out of this thing. They're not going to be counted out of here. So you heard Vrabel. It was on the coaches, on the players. So I think that they'll learn from this. They'll move on. And they're still a tough team. But Cleveland did a great job stopping Derrick Henry. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Cleveland also guaranteed itself its first winning season since 2007. So Northeast Ohio, congratulations.